Abysmal Urns, Boggy Moons, Aggressors of the Anthemic variety, Glass-bumping Flies, Sentient Oonas. Confused? Yeah. Then continue to watch as I explain all. Well, try to. As I delve into the latest album by OC's Smote Reverser. Whatever that means. Righty ho, ho ho ho! This is the follow-up to last year's Orc, which I haven't listened to. Now, OCs, also known as the OCs, and I think they've had about another God knows how many goddamn different variations of their name over the years, but they formed in San Francisco, California. Was it in 1997? They're a very prolific band who experiment very much in the garage, psychedelic, progressive, punk, noise, art and post-rock. In their sound I found a lot of comparisons to bands like King Crimson, Rocky Erickson's 13 Floor Elevators. I also got some vibes of Black Sabbath in a lot of the drum fills particularly, and also stuff like Zappa. Definitely some of the guitar stuff sounds like it's straight out of Zappa. Straight out of Zappa! And in terms of contemporary bands, I draw a parallel between this and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and also Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. But as OCs pretty much have been going far longer than any of those bands, I would say they were the purveyors of said sound. Now, my next review was supposed to be for Wu-Tang Clan for the 36 Chambers, which will be coming up the next video instead, but I happened to stumble across one of these songs. I wasn't planning on doing this album, but I heard one of the songs by pure accident, realised that the album's actually coming out this week, and thought that was a damn good time to do it. I do love me some trippy shit. Okay, so the band are, we have John Dwyer on guitars and vocals. I think he's kind of like the mastermind. We have Tim Hellman on bass, Dan Rincon on drums, Paul Quattrone also on drums. Two drummers. And we also have Bridget Dawson on keyboards, and she also does backup vocals as well. Enough fannying about. Let's get into the songs. First song we have is Sentient Oona. Now, I'm not quite sure what the what this song is about necessarily. I'm not sure what a lot of them are about actually. The lyrics are quite trippy, acidy trippy, but apparently Oona in Irish means lamb. So sentient lamb, maybe, I don't know. I just thought I'd wow you all with the fact that I actually did a bit of research and just checked on a word online. It's not very fucking hard. Definite comparisons to bands like King Crimson on this one. Had a really old sort of 60s, 70s prog rock vibe. I do love me some 60s, 70s style prog rock. And first thing I noticed as well, that other than the sound obviously, was that the production sounds very organic. Feels like you're in the room with them jamming around you, which might not be a very nice thing. I'm not sure I'd like that at all, actually. You won't care when you're frozen. Slightly slip away into deep sleep. The blinking eye of your oppressor, watching as you slip into the deep. Had some really nice lead work and some nice prog flourishes on the keyboard. Nice start to an album. I'm all in so far. Next up is Enrique El Cobrador. It starts out with a nice fuzzed out bass line. I do like me a nice fuzzed out bass line. This is one of the songs that reminded me very much of Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, their Mind Control album, which is a gratuitous plug just to point out that I did a review of that at the beginning of the year. It was a good fucking review, that one as well. In that very psychedelic, trippy kind of a way, very 60s feel to this song. Once again, I'm really digging on this 60s, 70s psychedelic, old school vibe. The drum fills, the drummers in particular are fucking great. The musicianship's pretty goddamn stellar. Really enjoyed a lot of the drums on this track. I do like me some 60s, 70s inspired drum fills. And there's also some great fuzzed out lead guitar, which I particularly enjoyed. I am the skull upon the hill, drenched in blood that I spill, butchering and ticking down your day. It did not sound like that. Next up we have C, as in the letter C. as in, this one yet again starts out with some progged out keyboards a la King Crimson, as well as a particularly enjoyable bass line. I do like me a particularly enjoyable bass line. And John Dwyer is joined by Bridget on vocals on this one. Slide down deep to the endless night. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Playing among the bones and hair. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This evening begins anew. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Creature, come on, slay a few. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Pretty cool song. Next up we have Overthrown, and this one starts out with a much meatier, heavier riff, and the vocals as well are also a lot more aggressive and got a bit more pace to them. As actually parts of the song that are very reminiscent of the Osmonds' Crazy Horses. Wah, wah. Murdered, flayed, sucking disease. What is the point of it? Ah, free, bleed, fucking bled clean. What is the point of it? Ah. There's some very impressive instrumentation on this one, and John Dwyer, vocalist and guitarist, lays down some pretty goddamn impressive lead work, as he does throughout the entirety of the album. Add on top of that the twin drum attack. Pretty fucking phenomenal. Great track. Next up we have Last Piece, and this one starts out with some more laid back bass, while the cymbals crash and crescend, building up momentum as the song builds with some sparkly clean guitar chords joining in. Continues like this till about 3.5 minutes in, and then for the remainder of the song it pretty much becomes an instrumental. Whoa. Definitely got a very garage rock, acid rock type vibe to this one, but it kind of morphs into this more progressive beast towards the end of the song. I'll say one thing right now, it does sound like a fun band to be in, as in a band to play in. They just seem to be, you can almost feel what it must be like to be jamming along and just everybody kind of improvising and just, yeah, it sounds like they're having a good time. That's the vibe I get from this album. Next up we have Moonbog, again a kind of a more subdued tone, kind of almost like a laid back lounge jazz type of vibe, and it gives it kind of a dreamy feel, a bit of a dreamy quality to this one. I'm not sure if this one has anything to do with a H.P. Lovecraft story of the same name, but I just kind of wanted to add that in there to let you guys know that I read books. Repeated throughout the song we get I like moonlight, hoofbeat, asleep, black dream, retreat, dawn creeps asleep. Very dark and menacing. The vocal delivery and structure of the song pretty much stay consistent throughout the entirety of this song, but peppered throughout it are some of Dwyer's impressive bluesy lead playing. Yet again, it kind of breaks it up a bit and really makes it work. Very much enjoyed this one. Next up we have Anthemic Aggressor. This is a 12-minute instrumental piece that to my ears wouldn't have sounded that out of place on Miles Davis' Bitches Brew sessions, minus the saxophone of course. Very funky bass lines, rolling drum fills, moments of tripped out keyboard pieces, and a whole bunch of Zappa-esque style lead guitar. 12 minutes, felt a little overindulgent to me, and I do like me a longer track, but yeah, this one was okay. Up next we have Abysmal Urn. How shitty can an urn be to be abysmal? More of a stoner vibe on this one. Some meteor riffs thrown in with some tasty arpeggio runs. Your generation is complicated. I see you're feeling down. What happened to them? Complete destruction. I see you're feeling down. There was a section in this song that had a nice bass run that reminded me very much of Lightning Bolt, which is never a bad thing. If you haven't already, you should be listening to Lightning Bolt. I also found there was touches of Black Sabbath and Black Flag, or at least their later career. Next up we have Nailhouse Needle Boys. Well, that doesn't sound very nice. Bit more of a mid-paced groove on this one. Definitely a jam vibe going on. We get a good minute of instrumental jamming before the vocals kick in. A new life inside our swelling hand. And float your sail like a soldier. You lie and cheat, you're sickly sweet. And follow the echo down the hall. Yeah. This is another song that's just got some incredible drumming in it, and the back half of the song, or at least a part of this song, kind of reminded me very much of Come Together by the Beatles. They had that kind of a groove and a swing to it. Cool tune. Next up we have another instrumental, Flies Bump Against the Glass. This started out with a nice prog rock synth swell. I do enjoy me a nice prog rock synth swell before the drum and bass kick in, followed shortly by some wah-wah drenched guitars. Even though I am a fan of the longer jams, this instrumental worked a lot better than the previous one, I thought. This was only like 4.5 minutes. But it worked really well for it. Just had a nice feel to it, this song. I very much enjoyed this one. Yeah, this one worked pretty well. And now the final song on the album, Beat Quest. I really enjoyed the instrumentation on this closing track. There's this rolling drum beat that kind of pretty much repeats over and over throughout the entirety of this track, and gives you a real hypnotic kind of feel. I really enjoyed the vocal harmonies between John and Bridget in this one. And the keyboard sections were great. I read a couple of articles where people were pointing out that Bridget seems to be almost like the band's secret weapon, and I kind of see where they're coming from. She does just, the band are totally competent, but she adds a kind of an extra layer that really just seals the deal for me. I put my chest upon the quest and follow. The high-end squeal of grinding wheel avoided. Rolling over walls and tumbling marble, there's nothing left for us to claim at all. Now, I enjoyed this song very much, but unfortunately, about halfway through, it kind of descended into a prog jam, which just felt a bit overindulgent. I was really enjoying what the song was before that. I felt they could have just kept going with the song the way it was, and it would have worked particularly well. A bit of a shame, because I could have done with more of that, but hey ho, there you go. In terms of a score, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. A lot of it is really the sort of thing I enjoy. I love fuzzed out guitars. I love that Zappa, King Crimson style proggy music. The keyboards were great. Bridget did a great job. I thought she was awesome. Some amazing bass lines, phenomenal drumming. Like a lot of prog, it got a bit overindulgent in places and kind of went on a little bit, kind of not lost me in terms of like technicality, just kind of, you know, there are a few moments where it just got a bit things should never be but overall pretty goddamn good album. And it certainly introduced me to this band, who I've never actually heard before, and they've got quite the back catalogue to check out. Definitely worth your time, I think, checking out some of this stuff. Some great stuff here, competent musicians, that's for damn sure. What have I got coming up next? Well, the next one will be Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. I was hoping to have that out earlier, but I don't have to explain. And then next week will be Alice in Chains, Rainier Fog, which I'm very much looking forward to. Got a bit of hype behind it. I'm quite interested to see how it goes. And at some point I am getting close to launching my PMA channel and my gaming channel. I just need to do it at the right time, when I have time. As soon as those go out, I shall let you know. But subscribe or don't, or share or comment or like or whatever and all that sort of thing, and blah 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 blah, and do your thing, and I'll catch you next time, mate. Don't you go nowhere. Well, you're gonna have to now, because you know I'm heading off, but you get off.